Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, want to receive the blessing of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyam Sundar, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Nrsingadev, Jagannath, Baladev Subhadra, Shishi Gaunittai, Tulsi Mani, Haridas Thakur, Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, and Guru Maharaj, also the assembled devotees. So we're continuing on Srimad Bhagavad Puran, Canto 7, Chapter 7. So, in Chapter 6, at the end, the classroom friends of Prahlad Maharaj asked him, "You got so much knowledge, and you're only little. Where did you get this knowledge from?" Because we've only heard from our teachers, and it's nothing like what you're teaching us, and we like what you're teaching us. So then Prahlad Maharaj, he explains what happened. This chapter is entitled, What Prahlad Learned in the Womb. When Hiranyakashipu went off to perform austerities, the demigods were afraid and fled. Sorry, the demons were afraid and they fled, leaving everything behind. Thus the demigods plundered Hiranyakashipu's palace and captured his wife, Kayadu. As Prahlad's mother was being taken away by the demigods, Narad stopped them. The demigods expressed desire to kill the child who was still in her womb. Narad said, the child within the womb, within this woman's womb, is faultless and sinless. Actually, he is a great devotee. So Narad Muni had already foretold. Therefore, you will not be able to kill him. Upon hearing this and accepting the words of Narad, all the demigods circumambulated Kayadu and returned to their kingdom. Narad took her to his ashram and said she could stay there until her husband returns. Kayadu desired to give birth to her child after the return of her husband. So this is Narad Muni protecting the child and the mother. Prahlad's mother stayed in the ashram and rendered service to Narad with devotion. Narad gave instructions to both Kayadu and Prahlad, who was in the womb. His mother forgot Narad's instructions, but Prahlad didn't. Prahlad told his friends that if they have faith in his words, they can also understand transcendental knowledge. One cannot imagine how a baby in embryo can hear Narad. But progress in spiritual life and reception of spiritual knowledge cannot be obstructed by any material condition. The material body undergoes many changes: birth, existence, growth, transformation, dwindling, and then death. Atma refers to the Supreme Lord, or as Paramatma, or the living entity, Jivatma. Both of them are spiritual and have the following 12 qualities. They're actually free from birth and death. So although we are trapped in this body, in this cycle of birth and death, our pure state, our Atma, is actually free from birth and death. But at the moment we are conditioned, trapped. Free from deterioration, the Atma will never get old. Free from material contamination. They are individual. This free from material contamination applies to Paramatma, and it applies to Jivatma when it's connected to the Paramatma. They are individual. They are knowers of the external body. They are foundation or shelter of everything. They are free from material change. They are self-illuminated. They are the cause of all causes. They are all-pervading. Within this body, for example, the cause of all causes means we are the cause of our own karma. And the self-illuminated, well, we have some little illumination, especially we know a little bit about our body and how it's feeling. They have nothing to do with the material body and material body. So these are the 12. Yes. And with these transcendental qualities, one who is actually learned can give up the illusory conception of life in which one is thinking, I am this material body. Everything in relation with this body is mine. The soul exists as observer. So there are 8 external energies, Prakriti, Mahatattva, false ego, and the 5 sense objects. The 3 modes of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance. There's the 16 transformations, which are the 11 senses and the 5 gross elements. There are 2 kinds of bodies for every individual soul. A gross body made up of 5 gross elements, and a subtle body made up of 3 subtle elements. By analysis, one can separate spirit from matter. So it takes a little time to understand this. But one can. This is Sankhya Yoga, which was propounded by Kapil Dev in the 3rd canto. One can understand that we are separate from the body, but also we have a second body which cannot be seen. It's a subtle body consisting of mind, intelligence, and ego. Intelligence can be perceived in 3 stages of activity: wakefulness, dreaming, and deep sleep. Paramatma perceives all these 3 states. As one can understand the presence of the air by the aromas it carries, so one can understand the soul by these 3 divisions of intelligence. These 3 divisions, however, are not the soul. They are constituted of the 3 modes and are born of activities or karma. Polluted intelligence entangles the soul in the material existence, which is like a dreaming state in which one falsely suffers. Therefore, one should take to Krishna consciousness to dissipate the ignorance which causes material existence through the performance of Bhakti Yoga. So, this is the trick, how to get out of this entanglement. Process of Bhakti Yoga is the performance of duties by which love for the Supreme Lord develops. That's a really nice definition of Bhakti Yoga. Doing activities which can bring about the love, the dormant love that we have for the Lord. And it includes the following. One must accept the bona fide spiritual master, render service unto him with great devotion and faith. Whatever one has in one's possession should be offered to the spiritual master. And in the association of saintly persons and devotees, one should worship the Lord. Hear the glories of the Lord with faith, glorify the transcendental qualities and activities of the Lord. Always meditate on the Lord's lotus feet and worship the deity of the Lord strictly according to the injunctions of the Shastra and Guru. So this is quite an interesting guidelines as to how to perform Bhakti Yoga. The Guru is a very central part of our activities in devotional service. By these activities, the results are, so these are the secondary results. One is able to cut down the influence of enemies, namely lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, jealousy. So the enemy is not outside, the enemy is within. And when thus situated, one can render service to the Lord. What's the primary result? One can surely attain the platform of loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what's the ultimate result? One develops symptoms of rati, loving signs such as hair standing on end, voice faltering, shedding tears, singing, dancing. The devotee is then freed from all material contamination. Because of his intense devotional service, material desires are burnt to ashes. This is the stage at which one can achieve the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. The real problem is the repetition of birth and death. So this is Prahlad Maharaj continuing, right, talking to his classmates. By the constant bliss one feels in devotional service, this wheel of transformation is stopped. Therefore, one should meditate upon and worship the Super Soul in the heart. Everything one enjoys within this world is temporary. So what is the benefit of trying to enjoy these opulences? Although a materialistic person continually acts for economic advancement, he is constantly frustrated and he gets results the opposite of which he desires. And this is partly because we have our karmas to deal with at the same time. Actually, however, one is happy as long as one is not endeavoring for happiness. It's always the case, isn't it? When you are after something, it's never within your reach. As soon as you decide, okay, you know what, it doesn't matter, it becomes available. Same with happiness. As soon as one begins his activities for happiness, his distress begins. Why? Because there's an expectation. And those expectations are not fulfilled. And that leads to frustration and distress. One makes many plans for the comfort of the body, but the body embraces the living entity and thus leaves him aside. Follow in the footsteps of the devotees and serve the Supreme Lord. As a super soul, he is the most dear. The Lord is pleased only if one has unflinching, unalloyed devotion to him, not by becoming perfect Brahmins, demigods, or great saints, or by becoming perfectly good in etiquette and or vast learning, or by charity, austerity, sacrifice, cleanliness, or vows. So his devotion is what the Lord is looking for. Therefore, perform devotional service to Govinda, for he is the ultimate goal of life. Everyone can perform bhakti and revive their original spiritual, eternal spiritual existence. So this is very interesting teachings by Prahlad Maharaj. Again, emphasizing bhakti yoga. Chapter 8, Lord Nrsimhadev slays the king of the demons. After hearing Prahlad's preaching, all the children of the demons became devotees. When a pure devotee, Prahlad, preaches the glories of the Lord, following the footsteps of another devotee, Narad, his preaching becomes effective. Sanda and Amarka, being afraid of Prahlad's influence on the children, informed Hiranyakashipu, who harshly rebuked Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu asked, by whose power has a rascal like you become so important that you appear fearless and overstep my power to rule you? Prahlad said, the source of my strength is the same as the source of yours, the Supreme Lord. He creates this cosmic manifestation, he maintains it, and destroys it also. My dear Father, please give up your demoniac mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Your only enemy is your uncontrolled mind. This is a 5-year-old boy giving his father the truth as it is. But he did it in a very sweet way, of course. 5-year-old boy. If good instructions are given to a fool, he does not take advantage of them, but becomes more angry. Prahlad's authorized instructions were not accepted by Hiranyakashipu, who was interested only in money and women. Thus he responded in anger as follows. Hiranyakashipu said, now you want to die. Let us see your Lord protect you now. Where is he? Is he in this pillar? If he's everywhere, then why is he not present in this pillar? Hiranyakashipu thought himself fortunate, as he possessed all the property of the universe. He called Prahlad unfortunate, because although as his legitimate son, Prahlad was to inherit the property, his property, because of his impudence, he was going to die at his father's hands. In all circumstances, the devotee can see the Lord everywhere, whereas the non-devotee, he cannot see the Lord anywhere. This is the difference between the atheist and the devotee. In order to prove that the Lord is everywhere, is not everywhere, Hiranyakashipu took up his sword. He got up from his throne, struck the pillar with his fist. From within the pillar came a sound fearful to the entire universe, which appeared to crack even the coverings of the universe, reaching Brahmalok. Wow. The demigods thought that the universe was being destroyed. Hearing the sound which had never been heard before, no one could find its origin. He's the cause of this sound, Lord Nrsingadev. And this is Simhachalam in Andhra Pradesh. Ahobilam, this is where he appeared, and this is the stamba, the remains of the pillar from which Lord Nrsingadev appeared. Just to prove that the statements of his devotee, Prahlad, are true, the Supreme Lord Nrsingadev then emerged from the pillar in a wonderful form that had never seen before. Lord Krishna told Arjuna to declare it boldly that his devotee never perishes. Hiranyakashipu was astonished to see the Lord emerging from the pillar. He thought, what is this creature that is half man, half lion? Hiranyakashipu never thought an animal and a human being would be combined, so that demons like him will be puzzled by such a form. This is the meaning of the Supreme's omnipotency. He was extremely fearful, with his angry eyes, deadly teeth, razor-sharp tongue, and gaping mouth. His arms spread in all directions as he killed the demons, rogues, and atheists. Hiranyakashipu studied the form of the Lord, trying to decide who the form of Nrsingadev standing before him was. Incredible painting. The Lord's form was extremely fearsome because of his angry eyes, which resembled molten gold, his shining mane, which expanded the dimensions of the fearful face, his deadly teeth, his razor-sharp tongue, which moved about like a dwelling sword. His ears were erect and motionless. His nostrils and gaping mouth appeared like caves of a mountain. His jaws parted fearfully, and his entire body touched the sky. His neck was very short and thick, his chest broad, his waist thin, the hairs on his body as white as the rays of the moon, his arms, which resemble flakes of flanks of soldiers, spread in all directions. As he killed the demons, rogues, and atheists with his conch, shell, disc, club, and lotus. There you go. Beautiful. Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord, disappeared into the Lord's effulgence. Like a wasp trying to put out a fire. As Hiranyakashipu attacked the Lord, Nrsingadev caught him and then dropped him, just as Garud plays with a snake. But to the dismay of the demigods who were hiding in the clouds, and thinking that if Hiranyakashipu escapes death, he will take revenge on them. Hiranyakashipu has taken our homes. Now he is taking our lives. There's this fantastic battle. Thinking falsely that the Lord was afraid of his prowess, Hiranyakashipu flew here and there throughout the sky. After playing with him for some time, Lord Nrsingadev finally captured him, put him on his lap, tore him to pieces with his nails. Although his body could not be pierced by thunderbolts, in order to keep Lord Brahma's promise intact, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu in the following way. So there were many boons granted to Hiranyakashipu. One was that he could not be killed inside or outside. So the Lord, Nrsingadev, pierced him at the door, in the doorway, which is not in the assembly hall, nor outside. He had another boon that he could not be killed on the day, on the land or sky. So he placed him on his lap, which was neither land or sky. Another boon he had was no weapon could kill him. So Hiranyakashipu, Nrsingadev used his nails, pierced him with his nails, which is neither living nor dead, nor any weapon. He couldn't be killed in the day or night, so the Lord killed him during twilight, which is neither day nor night. So no matter how cunning Hiranyakashipu was, thinking that he becomes immortal if he requests all these different boons from Brahma, still, the Lord is so clever. He will always defeat us. Our mentality, our demoniac mentality will always be defeated by the Lord. And we want our demoniac mentality to be defeated by the Lord. This is a blessing. He then garlanded it himself with he garlanded himself with Hiranyakashipu's intestines. Thousands of Hiranyakashipu's soldiers then attacked the Lord, who was easily killed with the tips of his nails. So this was quite interesting how the Lord, when you have a guest who comes to your home, you would try to, if they were very important, you would give them a garland, have a nice garland for them, give them a seat, yeah, give them a drink. But of course, Hiranyakashipu didn't observe this etiquette because he was thinking the Lord is his enemy. So the Lord, okay, I'll garland myself with your intestines. I'll drink your blood. I don't need water. And I'll take your seat, the throne. So in that way, he observed the etiquette which Hiranyakashipu should have offered him. Lord Nrsingadev's condition after killing Hiranyakashipu was as follows. His mouth and mane were sprinkled with drops of blood, and his fierce eyes, full of anger, were impossible to look at. Licking the edge of his mouth with his tongue, decorated with a garland of intestines taken from Hiranyakashipu's abdomen, he resembled a lion that had just killed an elephant. The Lord had uprooted Hiranyakashipu's heart with the nails, as if to inspect it, thinking, I was living happily in this heart. But did this unfortunate person make anger and hatred live here as well? So Lord Nrsingadev was a little perplexed. How come I was living in this heart? The Lord is neutral, right? He lives in the heart of the demons as well. So Lord Nrsingadev's prowess is as follows. The hair on Lord Nrsingadev's head shook the clouds and scattered them here and there. His glaring eyes stole the effulgence of the luminaries in the sky. His breathing agitated the seas and the oceans. Because of his roaring, all the elephants in the world began to cry in fear. Aeroplanes were thrown into outer space and upper planetary systems by the hair. Due to the pressure of the Lord's lotus feet, the earth appeared to slip from its position, and all the hills and mountains sprang up due to his intolerable force. Due to his effulgence, the sky in all directions diminished in their natural illumination. So this is the magnificence of this incarnation. Due to fear, the remaining demons already accepted the Lord's supremacy, seeing no one who could challenge him further. Nrsingadev sat on the throne of Hiranyakashipu. This way, the Lord showed that his devotee is always glorious. By sitting on the throne, the Lord showed who should be king. Although he does not accept the seat offered by sages purified by mantras, he accepted the throne already used and not offered to him because it belongs to his devotee gatekeeper, Jay. Even though he had been cursed and he took on the nature of a demon. By this, the Lord showed that his devotee is fortunate in any condition of life. Wow, this is just the most phenomenal point of view. My goodness. It shows how compassionate the Lord is, even if one acts as a demon, because he's a devotee. The Lord will accept that offering. But he doesn't accept sometimes the offering of the sages. Oof, wow. The demigods then individually offered their obeisances and prayers, their hands folded at the heads. So, as far as I understand, the demigods were very far away because the Lord was fierce. They were scared. Even after killing Hiranyakashipu, the Lord was still very angry. And the demigods could not tolerate this anger. So they kept their distance quite far away, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Lord Brahma praised the Lord as a creator, maintainer, destroyer. Lord Shiva requests of the Lord to give up his anger. So that shows even Lord Shiva could not tolerate the anger of the Lord. Indra was thankful that the Lord recovered his share of sacrifice. This is a typical behavior of the karmi, karmi devotee. He is protected by the Lord and he thanks the Lord. Thank you so much for protecting my wealth. Not understanding that this wealth is still temporary, even though the Lord may have protected it. It actually belongs to the Lord. The sages could now perform the austerities and Gandharvas, and the Gandharvas sing and dance. The Prithalok residents could now enjoy offerings of the Shrad ceremonies. The Siddhis could regain their mystic powers, and the Prajapatis procreate. Vidadharas could again disappear and reappear. The Nagas got back their wives, and Manu can re-establish Varnashram Dharma. The rest of the demigods could engage in various services to the Lord. Ooh, wow, that's a really amazing chapter. We can stop there. Surinder, anything you'd like to share?
Hare Krishna, yes, Nitai Gaura Haribol. So I've managed to search two verses from Narad Muni instructions.
Hmm.
This Lila Narad Muni plays a role, and then two verses from Prahlad Maharaj,
Wonderful.
from Prapana Jivnamritam, and then I can talk about Nrsimhadev.
Mhm.
So first one, I'll read the translation, otherwise it will be too long. Yes. So
Sure.
this is a verse from Narada Muni, and he's giving some instructions. So the adversity of pursuits based on knowledge means jnana and action, karma, devoid of any relationship with the Supreme Lord, Hari. When unadulterated knowledge that is devoid of action and its reactions is never becoming without a devotional relationship with the infallible Lord, how then will action which is ill-fated by nature ever be exalted without being offered to the Almighty, even if it is utterly selfless? So basically, we can progress to in our Krishna consciousness to reach the stage of niskama seva, selfless service.
Hmm.
But main importance is that it should be offered for the pleasure of Hari Guru Vaishnava,
Hmm.
of Krishna. So this is main. Even selflessness without connection to Krishna, it doesn't
Hmm.
progress. We need to connect it to the service of Krishna.
Right, right.
Next one by Narada Muni is the futility of sense control by yogic practice. The agitated mind, repeatedly taken captive by its enemy in the form of depravity rooted in lust and greed, is directly mastered by serving to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, Mukunda. It can never be likewise checked or pacified by practicing the Eightfold Yogic Discipline, which is generally based on sensual and mental repression, yama and niyama.
Hmm.
This is explaining that how the futility of sense control by yogic practices is not a proper sense control. And the yogic practice of sense control relates to the two aspects of the Astanga Yoga, yama and niyama, means based on sensual and mental repressions. Yes, the best way is by devotional service, Mukunda.
Hmm.
Yes, we have to serve the Supreme Person of Godhead, Mukunda, Krishna. And
Yeah.
next, we will hear from Prahlad Maharaj, and this is all from Prapanajimritam, and it's coming under the topic of rejection of the unfavorable. And Prahlad Maharaj says as follows: eagerness to attain to the bliss of Brahman must be known as unfavorable to devotion. O Guru of the universe, now that I can directly behold your divine form, I reside within the ocean of pure ecstasy, and all other pleasures, including the bliss of merging with Brahman, appear as insignificant as water in a cow's hoofprint.
Hmm.
Yes. So this is rejecting the Mayavad concept and merging into Brahman.
Hmm.
And second verse from instruction from Prahlad Maharaj in Prapanajamritam. This one is under the heading of full self-surrender. Is another limb of Sharanagati. There are 6 limbs. So, and now full self-surrender is the whole purport of the Vedas. The pursuits of religiosity, prosperity, and sensual enjoyment have been delineated as the 3 ends of human existence. They include the science of self-knowledge, elevation, and logic, the principles of government, and various methods of livelihood such as farming, etc. All these pursuits are advocated by those sections of the Vedas dealing with the trimodal matters, that is, Sattva-gun, Rajogun, Tamogun, and therefore I consider them to be transient. On the other hand, I know self-dedication unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the dear well-wisher of the soul, to be the only factual reality propounded by the Vedas. So Prahlad Maharaj is directing us towards self-dedication unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. These were the 2 verses from Narada Muni and Prahlad Maharaj. Now, Lord Nrsimhadev is known as Vigna Vinasa. He removes obstacles from in our lives. So, and then in Brahma Samhita, there is this verse, Yatapada Pallava Yugam Vinidhaya Kumbha Dvandve Pranama Samaye Sagana Dhirajaha Vignan Mihantam Alamasya Jagatrayasya Govindamari Purusham Tamam Bhajami. For the power to crush the obstacles of the 3 worlds, he whose lotus feet Ganesha perpetually holds upon the pair of nodes of his elephantine head, the primeval Lord Govinda do I worship. So as Ganesha is worshipping Nrsimhadev, and in this way he also inherits this power to crush the obstacles of the 3 worlds. In this way, we pray to Lord Nrsimhadev and Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj and Narada Muni to get to the path of Shuddha Bhakti. Because devotional service, there is a mode of goodness, devotional service in the mode of passion, devotional service in the mode of ignorance, and then we have Shuddha Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. So we need to try to adapt towards Shuddha Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. Hare Krishna Prabhu Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Thank you so much. Wonderful share. Very, very nice. Thank you. Appreciate that, Surendraji. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, we can stop. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai.